Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Insights on TVC. Today, our guest is a lovely lady, and she has an amazing story. Her name is Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton. Welcome to Insights. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much, Jess. I am doing great. Actually, I would say splendiferous. How about you?
I am doing amazing. Thank you so much for asking.
Good.
It's a pleasure having you here on the show today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here.
You're most welcome. All right, so Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton, let's tell the world who you are. Let's start from the very beginning about your early life.
Okay. So I was born on the beautiful island of Antigua. 365 beaches, one beach for every single day of the year.
Yes.
And I lived there from 0 till about 8 years old. And I was born to 2 educators. So my parents are teachers. They've been educators for over 50-something years. And of course, they're retired now. And during those formative years, it's quite interesting because even though I was quiet, I can remember from those early years, I always had a sense of leading internally. So there was always a sense of leadership. And I remember when I went to primary school, I was 4 years old, and the headmistress, she said, "Oh, you look like your mom." She said, "No," I said, "No, I look like myself." And I remember them looking at me like, this one here, you gotta look out for her, you know? So yeah, that was my beginning days in Antigua.
Okay, and how was it, the fact that your both parents were educators, how was that growing up? Because of course, we've heard before that one of your parents are educated, but both of them. How was that for you?
Well, it required a lot of rigor in terms of learning and in terms of English. Because, you know, we have our dialect, our local parlance, as they would say, and we had to ensure that we were not just speaking the local parlance, but we were able to speak proper English as well. So we had that dual thing going on, and we were expected to also perform well and be excellent at whatever we're doing. So I can say that I am grateful to my parents for the foundation that they laid, and they have always been very supportive in that vein as well.
Do you think that was pressure, a lot of pressure for you?
Not necessarily so. I mean, there were times that I probably would have felt that way, but you know, as they say, hindsight is 20/20. You know, you learn a lot when looking back, and I'm very grateful that I had my parents, because they're still together today at 78. Mom will be 79 shortly.
Beautiful.
And they have laid some very strong foundations for us as a family, so I'm grateful.
And would you say that these experiences actually helped shape your values today?
Most definitely. And going back to what you asked me about education, it created a love, even though when I saw them teaching, I said I would never be a teacher because of the work that goes into teaching.
Correct.
I actually ended up teaching, even though it wasn't in that capacity as they were teaching. Because now I developed a curriculum for a master's level counseling program, and I teach that. And I also teach in other capacities in terms of training and, you know, counseling. So
Yes.
it still followed me, even though I said I was not going to do that.
Correct, correct. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton is a transformational healer, bestseller author, and success coach with over 30 years of impact. She specializes in trauma, healing through EFT, and faith-centered holistic care, empowering individuals and leaders to heal, thrive, and live victoriously. So there's a lot to uncover here. There's a whole lot to uncover here. So you did mention that first you lived in Antigua.
Correct.
And then you came over to St. Martin.
Yes.
How was that transition for you?
So my parents decided to relocate, wanted a change. My father came first and then we followed. So I was 8 years old when I came here. And the transition was challenging for me because, to be quite honest with you, I really didn't want to come. I can say that, you know, they say that some people are born here and others are born to be here. Well, it was so set up. You know, even though initially I wasn't happy being here. Eventually, it grew on me and developed friendships and learned along the way just to accept.
Correct. Would you change any of that though?
No, actually. Perhaps my thought process at the time, if I was more receptive to it, but truthfully, I don't think I would change anything because it has made me who I am today. And I had to grow through the process, and life is about growing and
That's
learning.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
And during your childhood, were there any key moments that, or people during those days, those early years, who sparked interest in helping others, besides your parents, of course?
Well, my sister, actually, Connie Francis-Cotton, she also inspired me in terms of the work that she was doing and community involvement, and that was something to want to emulate. And then as I grew in my relationship with Christ, because I accepted Christ at the age of 4, but while I was growing and reading the scripture, I recognized that, wow, this man Jesus was really a radical. You know, he wasn't what a lot of people describe Jesus as today or even back then. Because I took the time to read the Gospels and I analyzed how he moved, how he operated, and the authority with which he spoke and with what he did. And I was like, I like that. And so Christ became my mentor, my leader, the person that I wanted to emulate in my life, and has played a very pivotal role in the fact that now I preach as well and teach the word.
And you only do that here in St. Martin, or have you traveled to other areas?
Yeah, wherever I have been asked, then I would go. I've done it in Antigua and Barbados and different other places.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. And you mentioned that your parents are educators and you moved here to St. Martin. The transition from schooling from Antigua to St. Martin, how was that for you? Because it's a completely different structure.
Correct. And of course, I had to learn Dutch.
Correct.
I must say though, before we left Antigua, my father started to get us acclimatized to Dutch. But still, that was not enough, you know, for completely English to now come to a place where I'm also learning Dutch. And that was initially quite challenging. And learning to adjust to the environment was also a bit challenging. So I went from being the mover and the shaker in my environment to being quite inhibited, so very shy, you know, and quiet. And it was a very interesting time of my life, let's just put it that way.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And how was the support from your family? How did you feel supported going through that whole change? Because it's a huge impact to your life.
Correct.
And trying to adjust at that early age. How was the support from your family then, and how is it now as well?
Now, the support was good, and it is still good. I've always had good support from my family members, especially the nucleus. And actually, if I were to reflect, my family has played a very pivotal role in a lot of my accomplishments. You know, having them there to support and to encourage along the way. And even with starting Victorious Living, my foundation that I have right now, members of my family, my father, mother, sister, her husband, they were all part of the foundation.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, so it played a very big role in me being able to execute what I had to do with zero money.
Yeah, because it basically started from scratch.
Correct.
That's amazing. That's great. And what were some of the challenges as you faced during trying to build that foundation?
Let's go back to come forward. Can I do that?
What inspired you? Let's start from there.
So when I graduated from University of Tampa in 1995, and I came back to St. Martin. And by the way, 1995 was Hurricane Lewis. So I came back in time for Hurricane Lewis. Isn't that wonderful? So when I came back, the pastor at the time, my pastor at the time at the Methodist Church was, can you imagine? I just forgot his name.
That's okay.
But he's now deceased. And he said to me, you know, the young people in St. Martin, they need support. And I mean, I was young at the time myself. I was 21, right? And he said to me, and I see that you have that capacity to help to guide young people. And so at the time, the intent was that it would have happened within the church. And he had to leave suddenly to go to the Netherlands for another assignment. So I listened to what he said, and I felt that he was correct. And I said, okay, I would do it. But at the time, the receptivity within the church after he left was not really there. So I gathered a group of other young people, including Debbie Jack, Renee Violinas, Marcelia Henry, a number of people. And we came together and we formed Socially Acceptable Foundation. And that was in '96. And we did a lot of great work, even started a radio program. So I had young people that we were nurturing, and they were sharing their perspectives on life on the radio. And we did community service, had events and programs, and even gave away things, you know, to the community. And at one point we did the 12 days of Christmas, and I remember the late Mr. Draw a blank on his name as well. Bladen, Mr. Bladen. He said to me, you know, I'd love that 12 days of Christmas that you guys did. I've never seen anything like it, and it left an indelible impression on him. Because what we did, we had 12 days, and we had our Caribbean Santa, which was Papa Umpu. And we had a donkey and everything, and it was nice. And a whole...
An actual donkey.
Yes. and he had the costume made. The psychologist Anthea Reed's mom, she made the costume for him, and we had a whole 12 days of Christmas events on the square, and so things like that we did. So at the time as well, we also had Maynard, Alex Maynard. He was the vice president, I was the president. And then I had to leave because I went to pursue my master's in counseling at the Oral Roberts University. And so when I left, it was still going on. But to be honest, the vision was steered by me, so it died very shortly after. I was very disappointed. But at the time, however, there was a lot of youth activity, lots of youth organizations. It was a vibrant youth culture. And at the time, I was like, okay, you know, there are many organizations, things will go fine.
Right.
And so a good friend of mine, also now deceased.
That's 3 now.
Mr. Martina, he said to me when I was leaving, he said, you know, you're the kind of person that people don't understand that when you're not around, that's when they're going to miss you.
Wow.
I took that with a grain of salt, to be honest with you, because I didn't see my impact in such a great way at that time. Yeah. But he was correct, because when I returned to the island after I graduated in 2000 from Oral Roberts University, I stayed in the States for a year, and I did some work at a psychiatric hospital. And then I also went to New Jersey, and I was assisting my cousin with his ministry. So when I came back, December 2001, for vacation, because I wasn't coming back to stay,
Right.
what I saw blew me away. I told you, we had a vibrant youth culture.
Correct.
There were
When
lots,
you left at that time.
Exactly. We had lots of organizations doing wonderful things, young people. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was vibrant. And when I came back, I had a shocker that I could not understand what happened between when I left and when I came back. Because I looked on the blocks, I'm seeing young men sitting down, I'm looking in their eyes, I'm like, where is the light?
Yeah.
What has happened? And it really impacted me, and I said, wow. Even though I had to go back to the States, I said, you know, Lord, I really don't want to go back. And I said to the adults around, I said, these young people need mentorship. You know, what is happening here should not be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was going to return, but I said a prayer and I said, Lord, if it's your will for me to stay, then close the door for me to go. And if not, then I will leave. And it so happened the door did close.
Wow.
And so you'll hear the rest.
Yes, yes, yes. This is such an amazing story. But hold that thought for a few minutes. Yes. Guys, we'll be right back. We're going to take a short break. We're not going to take too long. So we'll be back with Miss Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton.
Stay connected to the best of local and Caribbean content anywhere, anytime with the TVC Plus app, the official app of TVC Channel 40. With the TVC Plus app, you can watch TVC Channel 40 live, catch every episode of your favorite shows on demand, watch exclusive pay-per-view content, listen to Voice of the Caribbean radio, and watch and read SKN Newsline. The TVC Plus app is available on all your devices. On the Google Play Store, search TVC and the plus sign. In the Apple App Store, type the words TVC Plus. And we're also available on the Amazon App Store for Fire TV and Fire Stick devices. Search the words TVC Plus. Download today and take TVC Channel 40 wherever you go. The TVC Plus app. Stream, watch, enjoy.
At The Cable, we believe in giving back because when our community thrives, we all do. That's why, as a company, we make it our mission to touch the lives of everyone in St. Kitts. We spearheaded the renovation of JNF Hospital lobby to ensure better care for all. The Cable sponsors free Wi-Fi in every community center across St. Kitts, so no one is left behind in an increasingly connected world. We stand with communities through every moment, big or small, in culture, education, youth development, and more. Y a ti también, Comunidad Latina. Cuenta con nosotros. Estamos con ustedes. And when it comes to customer service, we set the standard. We're just a call, click, or visit away because you matter to us. Join the company that truly cares. The Cable. More than service. We're family. Somos familia. And we're proud to always give more where it matters.
All right, don't miss News Desk, weekdays at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on TVC. St. Kitts to the world, now streaming everywhere.
King James is a soca artist out of the beautiful island of Sunshine City, St. Martin. I love music, grew up around music, and I just love to entertain people. God started in music from a young age. My creative process is, one, I would get a vibe, get a melody. That's why having talent behind us makes such a difference. They are not just our local telecom. They are supporting local artists, giving us the support and tools to keep creating and sharing without limits. And with Telem's new internet speeds, I can upload my files and tracks in seconds, send big files to producers overseas, and even live stream without worrying about buffering. But Telem has always played a role when it comes to young talent on the island. I would actually go as far to say this. Without Telem, there probably wouldn't be a King James right now. Telem is showcasing that St. Martin can compete on any level. They are investing in us, in our creativity, and in our future. And that's something I'm proud to be a part of.
Welcome back to Insights. I'm your host, Jess, and I'm here with Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton. Welcome back. All right, so right before we went on a break, I was at the edge of my seat practically because we were talking about the impact that you faced when you returned to St. Martin.
Yeah.
So tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, as I was mentioning, as I went around the island and I looked at the state of our young people, especially young men, my heart was broken, really, because instead of things have gotten better from when I left, it got worse. And I could not understand. You know, it's like like a bomb dropped.
Yeah.
Detonating lives. That's how I felt. And that's why at that time, because I was returning to the States, I said to the adults, these young people need mentorship, they need guidance. And I went to various persons just telling them that, you know, that's what needs to happen. And ultimately, I felt, my heart felt led to stay on St. Martin and in the Caribbean in general. And I said a prayer and I said, Lord, if it's your will for me to stay, closed the door for me to go back. And it so happened that that's exactly what happened. And now came another challenge, because when the door closed for me to go back to the States, my parents now got concerned.
Of course.
Because they were like, we know lots of people, they have their masters, they come back here and they can't find work, and you know, and they were knitting, let's just put it that way. And that actually made me concerned, and I took about a week and I fasted and I prayed. And at the end of that fast time and prayer came the vision for Victorious Living. And it incorporated all of my skills and talents and gifts, and the necessity for us to know that we can live victoriously by the power of the Holy Spirit. And a week later, I got a call from Dr. Nilda Ardain, who is a friend of mine, our first ombudsman, but of course at that time she was an ombudsman. Yeah. And she said she has a building and they don't have programs. I was developing programs and I didn't have a building. And so we decided to work together.
Aligned.
You know, and at that time as well, I had $0. So I spoke with Mr. Glenn Daniel and shared the vision with him, and he was very much impressed by what I shared and decided to get me some furniture for the office. Wow. And in that process, I started Victorious Living, got the family members to start the board, and hit the ground running. Had no income coming in. And I created a mentorship program. Yeah.
What does Victorious Living, the name, means to you? Or why would you choose those words to name that foundation?
Well, it actually came out of the Spirit. Years before, when I was living in Oklahoma, I used to go to all-night prayer services. Okay. And during one of those all-night prayer sessions, out of my spirit came, he's coming back for Victorious Church. And in that process, Victorious Living, that from then was birthed in my spirit. And so when it was time at that juncture for me to get going, Victorious Living came back again, and there it was.
That's awesome.
So that is how that started, and it's about the fact that despite what happens in life, the challenges, we can live victoriously as long as we're aligned with Christ and God is at the center of everything that we do. It doesn't matter what happens, we can live victoriously.
I agree completely.
Yes. And so we started, I developed the mentorship program, got different people from the community together, and whenever I do something, I do it well with excellence. So I went and I got training also on mentorship, on the best practices. I went to California for some of those trainings, and so developed an entire program. And in the process of doing so, young people who were, whether they were getting in trouble with the law, having problems in school, challenges at home, whatever the situation was, we worked along with them, screened mentors, trained the mentors. So Olga Mussington, who is also was with me with Socially Acceptable, I got her to do the training and got the material and gave that to her so that she could have done the training, because I couldn't do everything.
Yeah, of course.
And we also had, so she trained the mentors. I had persons to come in to do other skills training for the young people. I did counseling with them. We had parenting training and socials together. So it's created a whole family setting. And the whole idea behind it as well is building on what has worked for us as a people over the years, our village, our community. It takes that village to raise a child. So it was recreating that.
Yes.
So I called it Victorious Living Family and Friends Network. And in doing so, I can tell you, we went for 10 years consistently. The first year, I was doing this without 1 cent. I didn't get paid for it. And then I said, you know what? If I continue like this, I'm going to burn myself out. So I learned how to write grants. And in learning how to write grants, I then wrote a grant for the program, got it funded, and then I was able to hire staff. And that's how it grew. You know, and it made a significant difference in the lives of the young people who were there. Today, some of them, like one in particular, he now owns his own company in the marine industry, and he was one of them that they were actually going to deport, even though he was not born where they were going to deport him to.
Oh, wow.
Because it was really, they were getting tired of him. And we said, no, give him a chance. And we worked along with him, his mentor, and with his dad and so forth. And today he owns his own company, hires people, you know. And several years ago, because he saw an ad when I was selling my apartment, and he called me and said he's looking to buy it. I was like, wow. That was amazing, you know, that was really amazing. And of course, we also have persons who are in immigration. We have a host of that. And then, in addition to the mentorship program, Andre Huey, when I came back that year in 2001, and then in 2002 I was on the air, and I was talking about Joshua generation, it's time to reclaim the land. That was the word. And I had a service at the Methodist Church for young people to rise up and make their mark, make a difference. So while I was on the radio, Andre heard me and he said, you know, I like what you're saying. I have a vision for young people as well. And he would like for us to talk. So we had a conversation, and in that conversation we aligned our visions for young people. And within Victorious Living, I had a segment for Youth Wing, but I hadn't developed it at that time. And so after we spoke and we brought our visions together, that's how Y2X, Youth to Extreme, was also born. The youth wing of Victorious Living, and Andre was the founding president. And we did some amazing things for Y2X and young people in general. And we held Youth to Extreme every year. I think it was for 8 years we did Youth to Extreme. And what happened as a result of Youth Fest, as a result of Youth Fest, Extreme Youth Fest is what we called it, is that we created leaders, young leaders, because the way that I structured it is that they had to do the work. They had to put the effort in. I laid the foundation, did the networking, pull the people together, get the resources, the financials, but they had to execute. And so every year a new leader emerged out of that. And so we have out of Y2X some incredible young people. I mean, including Andre, he has his media business, which we are here doing now. And we brought in lots of people from overseas as well who were influential and multimillionaires. We had powerful speakers who imparted in the young people. So they had a vision that things didn't have to stay the same.
Right.
You know, they can aspire to more. And as a result, we have media mogul like Andre. We have Rolinda Carter, Dr. Rolinda Carter. She's a PhD in, I think, pathology. I don't remember the full name or whatever, but she used to be the dean of the University of St. Martin. We have a lawyer, Ayanna Tyrell. We have authors. I mean, the list goes on and on of the impact that was made as a result of those formative years of doing this work. And I'm very grateful for the journey.
Yeah. And besides the story of the young man that is now recruiting, do you have any other story that impacted you truly?
Well,
or the most? Because of course they should all be impactful, but which one really made you feel like, whoa, this is a drastic impact and change in their lives?
There was also this young man that he had broken his mom's jaw.
Wow.
Right? He had broken his mom's jaw in a rage. And he was given up on by the school and thought that they should have kicked him out. And my husband, Roy, who came into the picture in 2010 when he came back from the UK, and his mom, who's now deceased, unfortunately, she had been following me as a young person because I used to also write poetry and recite. And she, also an educator, had directed him to come to see me because he also did counseling at the university in the UK. And he was working with the Court of Guardianship. And so when this young man was brought to Court of Guardianship, he referred him to our program. And we worked along with him, worked along with his mother, his aunt, worked along with the family. And in that process, healing began. And today, he's doing quite well. You know, people had written him off, that he would not succeed, but he's doing very well. And that's just one of many. And of course, those not dramatic ones, young people who were timid, and now we have persons in immigration working as immigration workers and have gone through tertiary education, gotten their degrees and those type of things.
So it truly made an impact on the community overall.
Correct.
So,
and even recently, a young lady that at the age of 14, I had been working with her, met with her yesterday. She's now 38 and started her own business in juicing and doing fantastic, you know. So it's rewarding to be able to see the trajectory, even though, you know, it was grueling work and sometimes thankless. The impact has been made.
Yeah. Would you change anything from the point you returned and prayed and stayed?
Yeah.
Would you change anything from that process?
Well, the lessons that I've learned now, I may have done some things differently.
Yeah.
But would I change anything in terms of making that decision? No. Because the impact that has been made It's
And that
priceless.
is still happening.
And it's still happening.
Yeah.
Because they're now doing their own things.
Correct.
And they are making their difference
Yeah.
in their own ways, you know. So it's like a ripple effect.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. That's amazing. Well, I want to touch on the point of your family, your immediate family, right?
Okay.
We're going to take a short little break. And when we return, we're going to delve into then, because you also mentioned your husband
Yes.
being involved as well. And I'm sure that that played a huge role.
Right.
Because, of course, one thing is helping others on your own, but the other is actually your family that's surrounding you that are also being impacted by the decisions that you made to help others.
Correct.
So we're going to take a short break. We will return and we'll have more for you guys.
Stay connected to the best of local and Caribbean content anywhere, anytime with the TVC Plus app, the official app of TVC Channel 40. With the TVC Plus app, you can watch TVC Channel 40 live, catch every episode of your favorite shows on demand, watch exclusive pay-per-view content, listen to Voice of the Caribbean radio, and watch and read SKN Newsline. The TVC Plus app is available on all your devices. On the Google Play Store, search TVC and the plus sign. In the Apple App Store, type the words TVC Plus. And we're also available on the Amazon App Store for Fire TV and Fire Stick devices. Search the words TVC Plus. Download today and take TVC Channel 40 wherever you go. The TVC Plus app. Stream, watch, enjoy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Insights, and I'm here with Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton. So a moment ago, we were talking about your immediate family, all right? You mentioned that your husband also is part of the foundation and he is playing a huge role in the entire foundation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so in 2010, when he came to the island, he came to visit the foundation, and we had a talk, and he felt aligned with what I was doing, because he also led some young people as president of the student body at his university, and so he enjoyed working with young people. So when I shared with him the vision and what we were doing, he said he would like to be a part of it. And so he came in and assisted with Y2X. And he's been on radio this year, actually makes 19 years. So he worked along with the media part of the ministry. And made quite an impact also with them in helping them to do well in radio, and then we also transitioned to TV as well at one point. And in addition to that, he did counseling, so we started doing couples counseling together, and as a result, you know, bringing the yin, the yang, the balance, the male and the female in the couple sessions. So he's always been very supportive in whatever I'm doing, always wanting to ensure that in whatever way that he could be helpful, that he is. So I'm very grateful for his contribution as well.
That's great. That's amazing. And I'm pretty sure that if that support was not there, it would have been a lot more challenging to make things happen.
Yeah, most definitely. And interestingly, at the time when he came, I really was not looking for a relationship. So it everything came into alignment at the right time.
That's good. That's good. I've heard many persons say that they're not looking for a relationship, but they end up in relationships. And again, I believe that, as you mentioned, alignment is so important.
Correct.
but sometimes we are not sure what to look for at that point, because again, we're not interested, right? At that point. So I'm sure that you guys delve into that as well when you do the couples sessions too.
Yes.
Okay. And do you do online sessions as well?
Yes, we do. We also work with persons who are overseas via Zoom, who cannot be physically. And even during COVID, when persons couldn't come physically, we did on island, we would do via online. Zoom as well.
Okay, that's great. If anyone that is watching at the moment would like to contact you guys and have couples sessions, where can they locate you? How can they find you online?
They can give us a call at 1-721-524-8731 or visit our website www.victoriouslivingfoundation.com, and we would be able to make those arrangements.
That is great. All right, so what's your long-term vision for both the foundation and also the couples counseling?
Well, we have so much that we have put in place. We have a business blueprint for 2026 and beyond. But one of the main things that we want to see come to fruition is the Victorious Living Oasis. And Oasis because it's a place where people come for healing, for restoration in all forms. So whether it's a couple, whether it's you're dealing with depression, because I have a very good success rate with persons who are in depression with the methodologies that I use, because many years ago I recognized that talk therapy is not always effective. And so I have taken the time to upgrade my knowledge and my skills in some very powerful experiential processes that help people to work through the root of what they are dealing with in terms of depression. And so we want to create an environment, that's where the Oasis comes in, where a person experiences healing from the time they enter to the entire atmosphere. And that is my ultimate goal in seeing that realized, because more and more we're seeing people who are just disintegrating. I mean, when we came here when I was 8 years old, I don't think I ever saw any homeless person on the street. I've never seen anybody, going off in that sense. But the pressures of life are so much these days, and people don't have the support that they need. Just this morning, Roy and I, my husband and I, were having a conversation, and I was helping him through a process that he needed to work through. And he was, at the end of it, he was so grateful for what I did. And then he said, can you imagine so many households don't have this?
Correct.
And how it impacts people's lives. So if we're able to give people tools, and that's what I have recognized also with couples counseling, people just need tools. If they had the right tools, the right mindset, and the willingness, it would transform a lot of situations. Places where people end up divorced, they wouldn't divorce, but they don't have the tools, and sometimes they don't have the willingness to work through the issues that they are experiencing. And so ultimately we want to create that space for persons locally, regionally, internationally to be able to experience healing on a holistic level. Not just in mind and not just in body, but mind, body, spirit, the entire being.
Correct. That's amazing. Great. And how soon can they look forward to this, though?
Well, my aim is that we should have, my aim really was to have this ready a couple of years ago, because the dream was there.
Right.
And I have it on paper. So now it's about getting the finances in place to execute it. And I am projecting between the end of this year to next year to bring it into fruition. And it's a huge vision, so I think now I have to perhaps start small and grow big. But I know it's gonna happen, because when it's just like victorious living, I wrote the vision down and then it came into being. This was a vision that was also placed in my heart, and I've come a long way in putting things in place for it to be established, but now it's just to secure the location and the finances to make it happen.
That's right. That's a few steps to take there.
Yes.
Slow and steady.
Exactly.
All right, so having all of those hats that you wear, right? How do you balance the professional life and emotional self-care? So the professional and the personal.
Well, for me, years ago, after I had a health situation that happened, I made a decision that, because I was just working, I could say I was a workaholic, and I'm very passionate about what I do. So always, if a thought comes, I'm going to get it done. All right, and so I was pouring out more than I was getting in.
Right.
And so I made a decision. I said, listen, you have to be here for the long haul. And so I learned to set boundaries. If I can't do it, I'm not going to do it. And if you want to try to make me feel bad about it, well, that's on you.
Yeah.
And so I take time for myself, whether it's during the day, just a few minutes, or on weekends going to the beach, we go to the beach, or just walking in nature. And every day I exercise. Every day I take care of my physical and mental health in one form or the other. So, as I say, put on your mask first. So I've learned to do that.
Good. Yeah, that's important. Balance is important.
Exactly.
For sure. And as you mentioned, that burnout is a definite fact.
Yeah.
Once you're doing so much. I myself, I'm a person that I consider myself someone that does a lot of polymath, and that I wear different hats, and I know for a fact that that burnout is something that definitely happens.
Correct.
So that balance is so important.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and
Prioritize yourself.
yes,
You
yes.
know? And that's what I think is a downfall of many leaders. Feeling pressure to perform, pressure to always have everything right and taken care of. Sometimes you just have to
Let it be.
yeah.
And having God involved in your life has definitely been one of your main factors, right? One of your top.
Correct. Because it's about communicating and hearing from Him, because it's like a helicopter. You're not above, so you cannot see the scope of what's going on. And so having that higher vision to be able to help you to navigate your path is so critical. And unfortunately, these days we have many people who disregard the importance of having a spiritual relationship, having a relationship with God. And that is part of our downfall as a society as well. When we push aside what worked for our ancestors and think it's passé and it's no longer relevant, that's when we make a very big mistake.
If you had three points that you would like to touch on to tell the public, what would those 3 points be based on the foundations that you try to build? What would be the 3 main points or 3 advices that you would give?
1, it's important for each one of us to recognize that we're here for a purpose. Life is not meaningless. Life is purposeful. And when we get to know that purpose, and in order for us to know that purpose, we have to connect with the one who created us. And the Spirit, God, is inviting each of us to have that intimate relationship, because He has a plan and a purpose for each of our lives. That's 1. 2, it's important to value yourself. Value your being, who you are as an individual. You know, sometimes there are many of us who think that the other person is always better than ourselves, and we neglect ourselves, and then at the end of life become bitter and like, what did I do with my life? You know, I just did everything to please everybody else. But it's important for you to take time for yourself and get to know yourself. And I'm very grateful that at a young age I made that decision. I said, you know what, I don't want any relationship as a young person. I want to get to know me. And when you get to know yourself, it makes relationship easier, because then you are in a relationship with this person and you know your value and you know your worth. And 3, it's important for us to understand that we're not just here for ourselves. So I was speaking to the person who would just give and give and give, and now to the person who is very self-centered and thinks that the world revolves around you alone. Know that we are in community. We are individuals, but we are community. None of us can exist without the other. So whatever it is that you're doing, think, how will this impact the people around me? How will this impact my family? What kind of legacy am I going to leave if I take this action or make this decision? And as I said that, I just thought about government, and I just thought about people who are in political leadership. Remember, your leadership is not about you. Your leadership is about the people that you're called to impact and the lives that you're called to shape and to transform. And so whatever decision you make, remember, you're going to leave a legacy, and you need to ask yourself, what kind of legacy do I want to leave? What kind of impact do I want to make? And then you think about the decision you're about to make, and you will make the right decision every time. So those are what I would like to say to our audience.
Amazing advices, of course. Wasn't expecting anything less. All right, so Miss Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton,
Yes.
it was such a pleasure having you here with us today. Thank you so much for taking your time out and sharing your amazing gems and giving us a little bit of your life, your story, and explain us how you actually got to this point that you are today.
Yes.
We are definitely proud of you.
Thank you.
And we hope that you definitely continue and your future goals come true. And hoping to see you soon again, so we could talk about the part 2 of of Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure being here with you. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
Keep shining your light, and success in all that you do.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was today's episode of Insights. I'm your host, Jess, and we're here with our guest, Dr. Nicole Francis-Cotton.